All right. This is her shine on Dr. Life. Her shine on Dr. Life. The bedrock of her Dr. Life-Mart. I am the bedrock. So when people speaking about health, when people speaking about this, first of all, you need to find out what right do individuals have to even approach you on the subject. So in the world that we live in, unless you put in 10,000 hours, like in CSI, when they bring expert witnesses into court, coroners or all of that, they have to have 10,000 hours in doing autopsies and doing forensics and science before they can be a credible witness as an expert witness. 10,000 hours. So first of all, when it comes to this health game, when it comes to holistic health, when it comes to vegan diets, when it comes to vegetarian diet, when it comes to all natural or processed, when you've been doing something all your life, I have well over 10,000 hours. We have invested in community gardens. We have not only talked the talk, we put the money where our mouth is. We've invested in community gardens in Orlando, Florida, Mount Sinai Educational Complex as an extension of a mentoring program, as an extension of a first responders lifesaver program. We are first responders. Literally, we've been trained to save lives. We're in the business of investing in saving lives. Literally, first aid, CPR, disaster relief. Been trained down in college at Oakwood as a first responder to save lives. Got retrained here in Orlando, Florida. And instead of taking our services to a treasonous U.S. Armed Service, our services to a treasonous police. We took our services like the King of Kings to the highways and the byways. We took our services to the Paramore red light district of Orlando, Florida, abandoned. We took our services to the Pine Hills redlined district, abandoned by all of the billions and billions of dollars that flows into Orlando, Florida. None of it flows into Pine Hills. All of y'all billions of dollars, when y'all come down here and y'all invest in Walt Disney World, they have redlined Paramore, Washington Shores, Pine Hills as 3 communities for our people to be gentrified in, abandoned. While you bounce back and forth between Universal and Walt Disney World and all of that. While you spend billions of dollars on ESPN's Wide World of Sports, billions of dollars with Mickey Mouse, billions of dollars with Harry Potter. We over here showing our drug addicts left for dead, our dope dealers who don't want to deal dope no more. Our children in the crossfire, drive-bys who don't want to dodge bullets no more. We teach them how to save lives, how to build wealth, how to break cycles. So when y'all talk about serve and protect, you got to excuse me. You got to excuse me. When y'all talk about the science behind why we do, ain't no science behind why you do what you do. Ain't no science behind being a slave. Ain't no science behind how you look at every one of our cities and how you do the same thing every day in every one of our cities, and you let a small group of individuals who only talk about church and talk about civil rights and talk about equality and talk about slavery is over and talk about love and talk. Everybody just talking. And when you test the fruits, they the same slave masters. They done handed down the system from son to son, daughter to daughter, witch and warlock to witch and warlock. And they doing the same spells and the same potions and the same taxation and the same robbery and the same rape and the same pillaging. And our people doing the same kumbaya, talking about heaven, ain't going. Same, singing the same songs, praying the same prayers, getting whipped by the same whips, locked up in the same chains, plowing with the same mules, wearing the same old dingy clothes, in the same old dirty churches. Still sending your kids to the same old ignorant schools. So let me show you what we've been taught. My people perish for lack of knowledge. So let me give you the knowledge so you don't no longer have to perish. My people perish for lack of vision. Let me give you the vision so you'll no longer have to be blind. Fair? Fair? Let's start at the beginning. So let's start at the root, the first hospital systems in the US. Let's start at the very first attack on health in the US. Let's start there. Let's get on record the name of the very first hospital system and the very first individuals that call themselves the hospitalers. They called themselves the hospitalers. The very individuals doing this to you call themselves the hospitalers. Shriners hospitals all over the country, the hospitalers. So let's go to the very first hospitalers. And we're going to go to their books and their manuals. And in their books and their manuals, they're going to tell you from the very beginning who the families are, what the families' names, who are behind the hospitals, the pharmaceutical industries. The same individuals that go to Washington, D.C. and have a permanent lobbying process in Washington, D.C. to get Washington, D.C. to write laws in their favors to implement their medication. Let's go to the root. We're not here to play. We're not here to play these games with y'all. We're here to speak truth and shame and double. Period. Y'all want to play with y'all lives? Y'all could do it after we give you the truth. Yes, darling. See that name? It's a foundation that has invested. Let's go.
The new government stimulus program has finally made solar
Here I
panels
go.
accessible to everyone. With this new program, Seeds of Destruction by William F. Engdahl, a great author, and basically we'll leave most of the occultic aspects of alchemy for another time, but you can just think of it as a transformation, in this case of society or humanity. And they get into the Rockefellers and their connection to older systems, including Francis Bacon, but on the basic idea that the modern elites, the contemporary elites, are following the idea of, number one, an upper limit or carrying capacity for the number of people who can populate this planet, and they presume that there are too many useless eaters. The population explosion demands that old methods and places give way to new. And this leads them to other conclusions, including number two, that this calls for social engineering measures, including various methods of population reduction and genetic manipulation of the food supply. Number three, this in turn can be affected by the engineering of man himself with the injection of human genes into plants, or the injection into plant genes into humans. Just because the corn is sentient and in constant pain doesn't mean it's unhealthy or unsafe to eat. Again, to transform humanity and society towards a transhumanism where the actual human being is changed, the DNA is changed, it becomes a different person. And then they talk about how it is known, it's on the record, that the Rockefeller Foundation and others financed the American Eugenics Society and the records office at Cold Springs Harbor Laboratory in New York, which was the home base of the former uppercase eugenics in America. And when they did that, they cataloged millions of index cards on the bloodlines of ordinary Americans, and they tried to map inferior bloodlines and basically mark them for extinction. And that's not exactly an exaggeration. They did a lot of other things under eugenics, but this chapter gets into how one of the Rockefeller experts was Frederick Osborne, a founding member of the American Eugenics Society, an admirer of the Nazis, one who instructed the Nazis, and he was the first president of John D. Rockefeller III's Population Council. Osborne quoted in 1956, after World War II, how the Nazi movement had all but killed the eugenics movement because they adopted the U.S. and British system of eugenics, and then they got themselves a bad name. He said, in part, eugenics was to be mass marketed under a new guise. Instead of talking about eliminating inferior people through forced sterilizations or birth control, there would be free choice of family, size, and quality. So you should notice the terms there. A lot of people don't realize where they get their lines of ordinary Americans, and they tried to map inferior bloodlines in records office at Cold Springs Harbor Laboratory in New York, which was.
So do y'all know the history of eugenics? Do you know what eugenics is? Eugenics is the program of mass murder and slaughter that Hitler was taught from America. The American Eugenics Society ran from the 1800s into the 1900s. Hitler didn't do World War II until 1929. These European Germans came here, used the industrial wealth from chattel slave trade. The cotton plantations of the South created the world wealth in the antebellum slave era. The wealthiest plantations ever were when they industrialized the plantation with the cotton gin, 1800s. Then they created in 1844 Darwin's theory of evolution, and they created eugenics to exterminate the individuals that they said were subhuman. In the United States of America in 1844, during the antebellum slave era with the cotton gin, this is before emancipation and after emancipation. Who are the people that they legally put in the Constitution, in laws, black codes, Jim Crow? The extermination of eugenics has never been about. They threw Europeans, fake Hebrews in so that when reparations came, the very individuals who were exterminating our people would collect reparations from all over Europe, and they did it. And the people of color who were in slavery, who went through the black codes, who went through Jim Crow, you guys have always been the target of the extermination, and you got none of the reparations, and they didn't have to go and fix not one law because they said your group wasn't the group that was targeted. They lied and said the Europeans targeted themselves. The individuals who have exterminated, the Germans who exterminated and who ran the slave trade, are fake Hebrews. Their monetary system, their financial system, all of the bankers of Europe are European fake Hebrews. The English crown claims that they are the tribe of Judah. Everything that Britain has done has been done under the masquerade of the fake Hebrews. Their economy, their stock exchange, the Federal Reserve Bank, the Bank of England, the City of London. Queen Elizabeth claims that she was crowned by Zadok the priest. That is David's priest. The German British, the family of the German Bohemian Grove, Viking, rebel barbarians are masquerading like they are the descendants of Abraham. The same Confederate rebels claim to be the tribe of Judah. The Rockefellers and the Rothschilds are the rebel German barbarians who looked into the Bible and copied the financial system and claimed that they are the tribe of Judah. Catholic Church did the same thing. Peter is Jupiter. J-E-J-U-P, Jupiter. The root word of Jupiter is a fake term that the Europeans made up for the children of Abraham. Nowhere ever in the history did Abraham call his children that word. Isaac, Jacob, Jesus, Moses. Nowhere. Peter, James, John. Nobody used that word. Who used that word? The British. In 1611 when they wrote the King James Bible. Daniel. Nobody in the world has ever used that term. If you said that term with the J to Jesus himself, he'd be like, who the heck are you talking about? Who the heck are you talking about? JEWS. Who is that? They ain't my people. I've never heard of no JEWS. I've heard of the tribe of Judah. But Jacob's son, Judah, never went nowhere near Europe. Because that's the land of the Gentiles. And we ain't Gentiles. So this book and the medical system that you're under is individuals who know they stole your identity. I'm talking to people of color. They know they stole your identity because they say you ignorant enough to have a financial blueprint and a covenant that produces wealth, and you not gonna build on it. One man's trash is another man's treasure. So you treated your financial blueprint like trash. So somebody else has come and they're impersonating the Hebrews of old. And they're taxing the very people who God made the covenant with. But that's why their world is not successful. That's why there's famine everywhere in their world. Because they can impersonate to man, but God is watching. And God knows he has no covenant with the queen in England. He has no covenant with the people in Jerusalem. So it's famine and pestilence in their land because there's a masquerade. They may fool you, but are they fooling the King of Kings? They are masquerading in an everlasting covenant that has blessings and curses. So when you see the curses still fall on the individuals who claim they are leading spiritually, that should tell you, listen, obviously they got it wrong. If I return to my blueprint, then if they're getting the curses, and obviously nobody's getting the blessings, you sure ain't got the blessings, and they ain't got the blessings. That's why they keep taking the world into World War I, World War II, Listen, when David was in covenant with God, he didn't go to war. When David was blessed by God for 70 years, he sat back and danced around with his wife, kicked his feet up. Only vagabonds who don't have nothing go to war to take what's not theirs. Only a fool in their right mind would go to war. Only broke niggas rob. When our people is down to their last, they lash out and rob. The Europeans rob, steal, no matter what. And they talk about lifestyles of the rich and famous. Where? Who? Where? Show me a lifestyle of rich and famous that is not at war. You show me a European nation that ain't war, that ain't been in war all the time, constantly in war. You show me one. They trying to fool you in the United States of America to join them in another world war again. And you're gonna go. You're gonna, just like you believing that they could force you to take you're gonna believe that they could force your children to go fight for them. You still believe the lie that they fighting on your behalf. They running around the world, robbing our people, sticking our people up, talking about patriots. They robbing people of color all over the world. They pillaging and extracting wealth from people of color all over the world. And you got a nerve to let them do that in the name of the, listen, They don't represent the United States of America. We do. Me, my brothers, my daddy, my grandfather. We the armed forces of the USA.
Was the home base of the former uppercase eugenics in America. And when they did that, they cataloged millions of index cards on the bloodlines of ordinary Americans, and they tried to map inferior bloodlines.
Who? The Rockefeller Foundation. This means there's a British family that the Rockefellers, Chase Manhattan Bank is the Rockefellers. Chase Manhattan Bank is this family who invested in the medical system and the educational system. The Rockefeller family. This is a British banking family based off of the fake lie that England is the tribe of Judah. Therefore, based off of the blessings of God on Abraham, that's why they say the British have a crown. I lie to you not. Every time they coronate Queen Elizabeth II, they go through the same coronation that David went through because they claim, and the word of God curses those who claim that they're Hebrews but are not, but are liars. I will make them bow down at your feet to know that I have loved you, Philadelphia. Revelation chapter 3. Revelation chapter 3. And everything that God has said that the individuals of the world would do to show you that they are anti-God, they fulfill to the T, and y'all blindly, stupidly followed them. So they say that is the authority that I have the right to take your life or do whatever because I have proven to you that I am anti the God that you claim you serve. Everything that your word of God has said that the individuals who are the beast, who are the false prophet, who are the dragon, we have fulfilled it to the T. And you claim that you stand on the Bible and Bible alone, and we've proven that we are anti your God and you follow us. We did no mercy. This their own book. They told you they did the eugenics in the United States of America. It got the family. This is Chase Bank, Chase Manhattan Bank. The Rockefeller Foundation. This means that the same British who were the Confederate rebels in the South, who ran all the plantations of the South and then tried to take the country to war so that Britain could own all of the United States and keep a plantation forever. And then the British lost. And then you let them double back in 1871 and then set up the Federal Reserve Bank. You let them lose the war and come back and put the bank in place. And they said, we don't care who write the laws. If you control the monetary system, you control the puppet head of state. And the first thing they did was say, we're going to depopulate. The same slaves on the plantation that exploded now outnumber us 10-1. We will create a movement. 1844 is the first time they came up with a theory, a scientific theory, to give them permission to all of the rest of the Europeans to allow them to stand back and let them slaughter people that they had labeled inferior. That's why they wrote Darwin's theory of evolution. So that no European nations that were claiming that they were Bible believing or whatever would come to the aid and rescue when after emancipation, they continued to slaughter. They like, we no longer got them enslaved, so we can't use slavery as the reason for slaughtering. So now we're going to use scientific First, we use the Bible, Genesis 10, to kill. But now we're not going to be Bible based no more. This is the age of reason. So we now have a theory, 1844. So then in 1865, they say, okay, free the slaves. Now we got a theory, and we say, depending on the shades of skin and the color of your eyes, there's white supremacy, and it de-escalates down. This is evolution, theory of evolution, survival of the fittest. Only the strong survive. Kill or be killed. And at the bottom of the evolutionary rung are the niggas, the Negroes, blacks, African Americans, Africans. And then going up, right above them, we'll put the brown. Because who is their ally? The Roman Catholic, Central and South America, Catholic, Latin nations of the world. I don't care what Cuba said. They communists. Every time the Pope go, I dare you to go look at Fidel Castro. Fidel Castro was a lifelong Roman Catholic. Every last one of these Latin nations that talk about they was socialism, and the minute that the Pope come in there, because they did the treaty to do slavery under the Spanish nation and the Portuguese nation, Roman Catholic nations. The political evolution of the colony later on down the line don't matter. It's all propaganda. It's all a masquerade. Socialism, communism, democracy, fascism. It's all a masquerade. It's Roman Catholicism. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, and to God that which is God's. It's only two sides. Caesar, which is the European Germans, who claim they have Aryan white supremacy. I don't care what name they put on their colony. It's the German barbarians that belong to Caesar.
It basically marked them for extinction. And that's not exactly an exaggeration. They did a lot of other things under eugenics, but this chapter gets into how one of the Rockefeller experts was Frederick Osborne, a founding member of the American Eugenics Society, an admirer of the Nazis, one who instructed the Nazis, and he was the first president of John D. Rockefeller III's Population Council.
So when Bill Gates now goes all over the world talking about population control, we need to cap the global population at ... Bill Gates is the new president of the Rockefeller Population Council, and this is eugenics. Eugenics is the extermination of those that we have deemed are subhuman. Who did they deem subhuman? All people of color. Why did they throw European fake Hebrews in there? To make money when it's time to huh? All of these individuals are criminals. Hello? What's up, baby?
Quoted in 1956, after World War II,
do we have mail?
The Nazi movement had all but killed the eugenics movement because they adopted the US and British system of eugenics.
Yeah.
They got themselves a bad name. He said, in part, eugenics was to be mass marketed under a new guise. Instead of talking about eliminating inferior people through forced sterilization.
Yeah, send it to your mom, because my account is negative. Right? Tell her to send it to your mom. Yeah. All right.
To birth control, there would be free children.
Understand, y'all. This is the beginning of your medical system. This is the beginning of Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and Moderna. This is the beginning of John D. Hopkins medical system. This is the beginning of your hospital system in the United States of America. This foundation right here founded the very first hospital. Do you know who they came to first, though? Do you know who they came to first? Do you know the first hospital they came to before they created the counterfeit? John D. Kellogg and the Seventh-day Adventists at a health sanitarium in Battle Creek, Michigan. John D. Rockefeller, Henry Ford, George Washington Carver, black sellout, George Washington. Every time they've done this to you, it's been black and white Europeans that are promoting Aryan white supremacy. Every time, listen, every time they've done this to you, in every step of the way, it has always been because they lied and said they are superior, when all while knowing that this land, they ain't even supposed to be in the land. All while knowing that our ancestors, Nubian, Cushite ancestors, identical to Bathsheba, identical to Hannibal of Carthage, identical to Joseph, king of Egypt, who is Hotep. I'm gonna come back and break down Joseph. These pagans worship an Egyptian who led Egypt at the height of Egypt's science, wealth. It is Joseph. The Egyptian name for Joseph was Zaphanath-Paneah. The Egyptian name for Joseph was Zaphanath-Paneah when he was the number one in Potiphar's house. Potiphar was the high priest of On in the Egyptian worship system. When the Egyptian king was following the one true God, the priest, when the Egyptian king followed the creator of heaven and earth, the God that the Egyptians called the creator of heaven and earth, when they were one with the creator of heaven and earth, was On. Potiphar was the high priest of On. Joseph, when he was governor of Potiphar's house, when Potiphar was the high priest of On, his Egyptian name was Zaphanath-Paneah. When he got elevated he took the position of Potiphar. When he revealed the dream to the king, when the king had a dream and he couldn't remember what the dream was, God revealed it to Joseph in prison. He brought him out of prison. He told him what the dream was, and then he revealed the prophetic meaning of the dreams. You saw 7 fatted cows. Fatter than any cows you had ever seen in your life. They represent 7 years of plenty. Then you saw 7 starving, withered cows that came and ate the fatted cows. That is famine, and that is 7 years of famine. The famine is going to be so severe, and it's going to be worldwide. The whole world will be taken through 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. And I am instructing you that in 7 years of the plenty, set storehouses in every city throughout the realm. Banking system. Set up banks in every city. Then collect a fifth from every household. 20% of the increase. So when every family in Egypt goes from millionaires to being a billionaire, in the 7 years where they make $1 billion a year, have every household come and bring 20% and put it in the nation's bank. This is where they get a Federal Reserve banking system from. This is where the British got their Federal Reserve banking system from. This is where the United States got their Federal Reserve banking system from. They stole it from Joseph. 20%, every household gave 20%. Now the rest of the world, them niggas ate their whole wealth. Like you black niggas do. Like you start, listen, this is why the British, this is why the Germans, they look and they see your financial system. And because you too ignorant to return to your roots, they enslave you financially, loan you after applying your model. Every house gave 20%, not 20% to no stinking priesthood, not 10% tithe to no stinking pastors, no worthless stinking pastors. Ain't never led nobody spiritually nowhere but the hell. What the heck? Listen, Joseph ain't collect no tithe for no church. Joseph didn't give not one red cent penny. He was the high priest of the Most High God in Egypt, a covenant higher than the Hebrew covenant. The people, all of the people gave. Joseph faithfully, unlike them African niggas in Nigeria and Ghana, unlike them African niggas all over the world that call themselves African kings and heads of state and prime ministers. So, and then they take our people's funds and give it to the colony. Joseph didn't do that.
Equality. So you should notice some propaganda terms there. A lot of people don't realize where they get their idea on how many children they want, what they think about society and people's rights. A lot of it has been directly steered through Rockefeller-sponsored propaganda. All of this, the authors write, was to be accomplished by a mass market campaign of social engineering, appealing to the new idea of, quote, wanted children. Women in their early 30s with 3 to 5 children want to stop having more children. We know that married women 20 to 39 want fewer children, approve of family planning, and are trying ineffectively to limit the size of their families. They touch further upon the connections between Osborne, that is the first president of John D. Rockefeller's Population Council, and some of the Nazi eugenicists. Here they cite Herman J. Mueller, who talked about, quote, it would be in the end far easier and more sensible to manufacture a completely new man, de novo, out of appropriately chosen raw materials than to try to refashion into human form those pitiful relics which remain. And in that statement, they're alluding to that the base of humanity is flawed, and the distinction with that's great. It gets right into the transhumanist idea. They talk about sperm banks and high quality.
Okay, so eugenics is about extermination and transhumanism. Do y'all know what transhumanism is? Transhumanism is they biologically, they like, if they won't join us in our abominable lifestyles, we will inject medicine, a vaccine into them that will transform them and get them to accept lifestyles that they normally wouldn't accept. He's telling you right here in his book that they have invested in transhumanism in medicine to genetically tinker with individuals who stand in opposition to the lifestyle that they live. Hello? Before you say something about, I know a lot of our people love to excuse yourself from confronting individuals. Y'all like to hide behind conspiracy theories. So let me take that excuse away from you. Let me forever take that excuse away from you. You can never hide behind a conspiracy theory ever again in your life. Never. Only people who believe in evolution, only people who believe that you're already subhuman, also believe in conspiracy theories. Only the people who hold to the same ideology and philosophy that they hold to believe in conspiracy theories. In creation and believe that God created man in his image after his likeness, all know that we are in a war, a battle. And everything they're doing is waging war in the physical and in the spiritual. So a battle plan is not a conspiracy. A battle plan is just that. They're on offense. They're attacking you. Once again, every time I come on here, I'm going to show you what the Word of God says about conspiracies. Because the fact that you're under attack physically and spiritually, to call that a conspiracy is ignorance. To not stand up and fight is ignorance. Only lazy people, only cowards use an excuse to do nothing, say, yo, that's a conspiracy. The Word of God is saying you're under attack and you need to respond properly. Proverbs 26:27. When the U.S. digs a pit for you, the person who dug the pit will fall into it. Dr. Fauci digging a pit with this vaccination. Didn't Joseph tell the people of his brothers? Did Joseph's brothers sell him into slavery or not? His brothers was going to kill him. A brother intervened and saved his life and said, nah, let's just sell him. Let's make some money off of it. And if it wasn't a slave trader there to physically sell him to, they would have killed Joseph. Is that a conspiracy? No, they had already put the plan in place to kill him. So when he came to feed his brothers, they had already put the plot in place to take his life. And they seized him and threw him in a well. And at nighttime, they was going to kill him. And here comes a caravan. And one brother's like, yo, I don't want his death, his blood on my conscience. Let's sell him and make some money. They say, all right, cool. Is that a conspiracy? No. That's a well-executed plan. And everything that's happened to you is a well-executed plan. And you better believe people of color that calling themselves your brothers, people of color that you done went to school with at your HSBCUs, they making their way on down to DC and they cutting backroom deals. They getting jobs as lobbyists and they getting multi-million-dollar salaries to turn their head and turn the blind eye to the slaughter that's about to go down. Is that a conspiracy theory? No. And the Most High God said every last one of them with blood money on their hands, and everybody who participated in the plot, the same pit that they dug for his children, they gonna be the dead bodies at the bottom of it. Everybody going along with this, everybody co-signing this, God say you gonna be the dead body at the bottom of it. So if you find yourself participating, waving the flames of fear and chaos, yeah. You need to mandate. He said, this says, Proverbs 26:27, whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and a stone will come back on him who starts it rolling. Whoever starts, God, like, okay, you at the top of the hill and your plan is to roll a stone down on my children down in the valley. He said, I'm gonna make the stone defy gravity and roll back on you and crush you. You afraid of the US government? You afraid of Biden? You afraid of World War III? For real? You afraid that they talk about Muslims is high? Muslims they wearing they strapping on bombs. You scared? You scared? Of course they're gonna strap bombs on themselves. He said, whoever plots to kill my people, they're gonna lose their life. What you scared of? Psalms 83:3. They lay crafty plans against your people. They consult together against your treasured ones. Huh? Who is they? I got you, bro. I'm bringing it, bro. I'm bringing it, Big Mike. I'm bringing it. I'm gonna give my people some courage, yo. Let me take you back to Mike's video. Understand, though. Understand. Yo, check this out. I want you to make the connection between your medical system and the Rockefellers who, listen, don't let them fool you with these names. That is the Bank of England, the Queen of England, who stole the financial system of Joseph in Egypt. He said, what you have done to, listen, what you did to harm me, God worked out for my good. Why? Because I'm in covenant with God. The Queen of England is in rebellion against God. So can her family members, the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, masquerading like they are fake Hebrews too, who God cursed. If you want to know where God cursed the Queen of England and all of these fake children of Abraham, Revelation 2:3, curses. Because Paul said there is no more Hebrew or Gentile. They dead to God because they shed God's blood. So anybody masquerading like they got the financial system of Abraham and they got the blessings of Abraham, they a lie. The only people are the kings who follow in the footsteps of Joseph, are the prophets. Revelation chapter 10 says, you will prophesy again. The word of God says, surely the Lord God will do nothing save he reveal his will to his servants, the prophets. The Queen of England and Donald Trump for 4 years, did a whole false prophecy and identified that evangelical Christianity, including the Seventh-day Adventist Church, stands with Israel, and claimed that Donald Trump is the fulfillment of Isaiah 45. Revelation 15 says, 3 unclean spirits will come out of the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. So the United States of America has freed every person who bypasses all lying lip abomination and goes straight to God for revelation. God says, surely the Lord God will do nothing before he reveals his will to his servants, the prophet. So every single priest every husbandman can be the priest Joseph in your household and get the revelation and expose the false prophet of the evangelical Christians who all stood with Donald Trump while he lied and said he is a fulfillment of Isaiah 45. And then he went and compounded the false prophecy. And then he put an embassy in the United States of America to show you that we have unified church and state. Donald Trump physically showed that the USDC fulfilled the final revelation that you need to stand against Babylon. The dragon, the beast, and the false prophet that Revelation 15 said will be thrown into the lake of fire. Donald Trump and every Christian that stands with him. Revelation 15 said every last Christian that stands with Donald Trump is going to the lake. Every single person in Jerusalem calling it a holy land when it is anathema, when it is a kelda, blood, the bottomless pit. Revelation 15 says DC, the US, and everybody standing with the evangelicals that anointed Donald Trump and about to try and put him back in the presidency. Everybody who listen, they got to spiritually say, listen, when Donald Trump runs for, listen to me, this is prophecy. When they, listen, Joe Biden is going to lower the bar so much. Joe Biden's job, because Donald Trump is such a whore. Joe Biden is to make the liberals look so bad that Donald Trump looks like a saint. When the liberal Joe Biden and Donald Trump are both whores, and anybody following either one of them, what makes it so bad is their family did this to you in the United States of America before. Teddy Roosevelt, President Theodore Roosevelt, is the script that Joe Biden is running. And right after Teddy Roosevelt destroyed the presidency, he destroyed and slaughtered the American troops. He was so terrible as a president that they gave Franklin Delano Roosevelt, his first cousin. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the only difference is Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the Democrat and Theodore Roosevelt was the Republican. This proves to you that there has never been any difference between these imposter clowns. Joe Biden is doing the playbook of Republican Teddy Roosevelt, and he's going to destroy you for 4 years. He's going to destroy your economy. He's destroying the military. He's going to tell you he ran out the debt. And then the Christians are going to say, Donald Trump is a Christian. He's a saint. Listen, both of them worship Pope Francis. Both of them are lifelong Roman Catholics. Both of them are Jesuits. Their political party means nothing. It's a masquerade. They both take orders from the same source, the beast system in Rome, the Pope. And everybody, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, whether you're a Christian or whether you're an atheist or a witch or whatever you are all in the same boat with God. Babylon. We clear? Babylon. Dragon speaking lamb like beast. Everything coming out of their mouth is the dragon talking. Every person in the White House who has ever spoke has always spoke on behalf of the dragon, says Revelation 13. Dragon speaking lamb like beast. That's what Washington, D.C. has always been. You don't have one person that went to the White House and spoke on behalf of God. says Revelation 13. Dragon speaking, lamb-like beast with two separate horns. So when the two horns that's supposed to be separate, church and state, render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, the state of Rome, is supposed to be separate from the vineyard estates of God. The harvest is ripe, but the laborers are few. God's vineyard is never supposed to be mixed. God's wine for his wedding feast is never supposed to be mixed with the state of Rome, mystery Babylon, the cup of indignation poured out without mixture. You never supposed to mix God's wine with the whore's Babylonian. Huh? Donald Trump put an embassy in Jerusalem. Donald Trump is building the third temple of the third Sodomite temple. Huh? And all of the Christians call it the Holy Land. And you still can't see? All right. Let me take you back to Mike's video. Let's go. If y'all want a doctor to give you some courage to stand and tell you that they can't force you to take nothing because they don't have no science backing. You want a doctor to tell you that?
Hello, my name is Dr. Christina Perks. I received my PhD in cellular and molecular biology right here in the state of Michigan from the University of Michigan Medical School.
Is that good enough?
And,
She's received her PhD. You got some courage now?
Well versed in the science of both these mRNA, gene therapy, vaccines, this kind of technology, as well as what a vaccine is designed to do in the body, what it can do, what it can't do. And the fact that this is extremely complex science that has been oversimplified in the media
has been oversimplified. Meaning, the way that they are attacking you, they try to make it seem like you can just simply go and take this. They've oversimplified, so you believe that it's going to do one thing and it has nothing to do with what they're explaining to you. It's called dumbing you down. They playing you for a fool.
Basically take away our freedom of choice. What I want to address today in this limited time is the fact that vaccine requirements and mandates are based on the faulty assumption that the vaccines in question prevent transmission of the virus.
Faulty assumption means they wanting you to believe, to make an assumption that they know is false. They're in the media telling you, giving you information, and they want you to assume. Why should you have to assume? When people speak truth, you don't have to assume nothing. You accept truth. When people are giving you truth, you don't have to assume anything. All you do is accept, receive the truth. And the Holy Spirit leads into all truth. There's nothing faulty about all truth. There's only faulty assumptions when there is deception and lies.
Pathogen, right? Does the vaccine for DTaP prevent transmission? No. Does the vaccine for flu prevent transmission? No. Do the vaccines for COVID prevent transmission? No. In fact, they were never designed to do that.
So they don't have a vaccine that's designed to prevent. So when you say, you gotta take, we're gonna force you to take a shot, that's still not gonna prevent anybody from getting the virus. So why do they want you to take the shot? Because it has nothing to do with the virus. It has to do with what they're putting in your body. And the only way they can put it in your body is through fear of this virus. This is their one chance to get you to put something in your body that you would never, ever allow them to put it in any otherwise. This is how they do you with your laws and legislation. They put bills out to the public and they promote certain bills. And then when they go to pass the bill that you've heard in the public, then they go and put all of this crap inside the bill. And when they pass this bill, it's 10 or 11 other bills that you would never, ever, 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 ever. But because they've attached it as a rider to the one that they've marketed and promoted to you. This is your political system. They've always been doing this to you. Joe Biden has always been doing this to you. Always. Get you concerned about what they talking about in the media. Then when you say yes to that, they come and attach other things that don't have nothing to do with the wording that they and the stuff that they said. They attach it to it. So you got stuff in that vaccine. They talking about, yo, listen, man, we want to get herd immunity. The vaccine not going to provide that. The vaccine doesn't stop individuals from getting the thing. So even when you take the shot, everybody is going to be getting virus. And they want you to put your faith in a shot so you're not building up your immune system that would defeat any virus that comes your way if you put your body in an alkaline state. What? Hello? Is the shot going to put your body in an alkaline state? Nope. That's why you're going to have to rely on shot after shot after shot. But you could go and you could change your lifestyle and change your diet and change what you put in your mouth. And you could put your body on an alkaline state. And it don't matter what virus comes. It don't matter what variant comes. But see, when you're putting your faith in their shot, you're not going to do the other things to strengthen the immune system, which means you will live. And their whole goal is to stop you from living. Yes, there's people on the earth that want you to die. Yes, there's politicians who are writing laws who want you dead. Yes, there's businesses who open their doors every day. And you have a target and a bullseye on every member of your family. Yes. Yes. Will they take your life? Look at the 400 years of history. You mean to tell me Europeans would target people of color exclusively for extermination and financial gain? You tell me. You answer your own question. Would a bunch of Europeans, black and white, target specific people of color? Just look at India. India has a caste system. Kamala Harris is from India. Kamala Harris is from the upper caste called the Brahmin. They have 4 castes, and then they have a group of people called the untouchables. Just go look at India. Go look at the life that the untouchables live in India right now today in 2021. And you tell me, will they do that to black people in the United States of America if you give them the authority to? Go look at India. Kamala Harris? Kamala Harris? You think because of her skin color she with you? Look at India. India follows Britain. Great Britain owns India. India has the system in place that Britain wants in place in the United States of America. Britain has invested and put the Rockefellers here and all of them here. And the only thing stopping Great Britain from doing what it wants is the fact that we own and rule this land. You owe your freedom to the manhood of my ancestors. The only reason you ain't untouchable in the US, like the untouchable, the only reason Kamala Harris will be unsuccessful in doing here what her harlot mama has done to the people in India is because of my wife and my grandmother and my ancestors, real women. And you keep playing around with Michelle Obama if you want to. You're going to find yourself over there in India in the untouchable caste. And we ain't going to think twice about you. Keep playing with Joe Biden and Donald Trump and Kamala Harris and Barack Hussein Obama and Michelle Obama, and you're going to be in the untouchable caste. Go look at Obama's family in Kenya. The Obamas sit in the same place that Kamala Harris family sit in India. Ain't no different. They got the same caste system because who colonized Kenya? The British. What? Barack Obama is a little puppet lackey of the British. Always has been. Every member of his family always has been. The British colonized Kenya. The same caste system. Kenya got the biggest slum in the world. And Barack Obama's family is sitting on wealth, sitting on listen, they partying up. They the Brahmin, they the African Brahmin. And then our people in the slums of Kenya are the untouchables all over the world, in every country. Rwanda, you got that bastard in Rwanda that killed all of our people, slaughtered all of our people in Hotel Rwanda. He led the army. The nigga that's the prime minister of Rwanda was the #1 general given the order to kill all of his countrymen. Then they made him the head of state. He killed almost 1 million people. And then y'all let this clown run around in the UN talking like he's a African leader. The United States sat back and watched 1 million people get chopped to death with machetes. The US sat back and they exported the French and the British and the US, and they sat back and watched. Because the same Dutch and the same British that colonized New York, they feel the same way about you here in the United States of America that they felt in Rwanda. They separated the people between two names. They had the same skin color. You had family members. Just like our people allow these white folks to separate them from blood and Crips. You got cousins in the same neighborhood. Some end up Crips, some end up Bloods, and they'll go to war because the white man told them that they enemies. That's what Rwanda was. The Dutch and the British sat back and watched. Sat back and watched. The Dutch catered to the Tutsis. The Dutch and the British made the Tutsis house niggas. And while the Dutch was catering to the house niggas, the Tutsis was abusing the Hutus, the field niggas. And the Dutch, for years and years and years, they elevated the Tutsi. They ran companies in Rwanda through the Tutsis. The tellers in the bank would be Tutsis. And everybody who was impoverished was Hutus. Nothing separated them niggas. Nothing. They arbitrarily put stamps in a passport book. You got a nerve to allow them niggas to try and put the same system in place in the United States of America. They're going to separate you between vaccinated or unvaccinated. And then they're going to send you through a civil war. And then they're going to tell you, go kill all of them niggas that won't get vaccinated. They putting you at risk. All y'all clowns. All of y'all clowns. Because the white European knows that they've never been superior. So they got to purge the black people that outnumber them. But you got to be ignorant and stupid enough and opt into their charade. And all around the world, ignorant black niggas that outnumber the Europeans. You rob from your people. You take guns from the developed first world nations, and then you do civil wars and you kill the people. And then what do? They come right back with all of their diamond mining firms. After the African nations slaughter their brothers in civil war, then they come and they buy up the land, and then the British, they extract the gold, the minerals, the resources. Then here comes Apple. Apple sets up a headquarters so they could get cheap. They could get the parts for the iPhone cheap. You talk about blood diamonds. You got blood iPhones, nigga. What? You got blood chocolate, nigga. Nestle is a German chocolatier on slavery. You got blood chocolate, nigga. What? You got a blood iPhone. You got a blood Tesla, nigga. You got a blood. Y'all niggas doing blood hybrid vehicles. What? Going straight to hell, nigga. What? And the British get to sit back in their castles, in their Buckingham Castle palace, and drink tea and laugh and watch as y'all exterminate and purge each other. And then when all of y'all dead, they gonna come in and they gonna buy up the land. They over there telling you we doing a reset. Prince Charles and Prince they doing a reset. And you letting Gayle King and them put a camera on. You let Prince have, they ain't got no princes. You letting CBS, Columbia Broadcast System. What is Columbia? Columbia is Europe. Every black nigga on CBS is a sellout rat coon. Columbia Broadcast Service. They are in the service of Columbia. Columbia is the Statue of Liberty. Columbia is the Queen of England. Columbia Broadcast. Of course, they telling you got to, yo, you in public school. My kids ain't in public school. I pay to make sure, I pay good money to make sure that can't nobody tell me. And the moment they want to tell you, you got to have a passport, passport to get on the plane. Yo, I'm just going to buy a plane, nigga. I don't got to have no passport to get on my own plane. And I'm going to fly where I want, when I want. And I dare y'all niggas to rise up and talk about, yo, anybody who won't get vaccinated, okay, let's go. Hotel Rwanda, let's go, y'all. Let's go.
All right, so you're asking, what about this 95% effectiveness? If you look at those clinical trials, they do not say that they prevent transmission. They expressly say that they're measuring whether they attenuate symptoms. So they're 95% effective based on their clinical trials at attenuating symptoms for the first variant, which is essentially gone in our.
So they scaring you to take a shot based off of an old variant that don't even apply to the shot that they putting in you. So now your body is being geared up to fight something, but the stuff that's in it that would do harm to you, oh, it's going to do the harm that it's designed to do. And none of the things that you believe you took the shot for, you believe you took the shot because it's going to make you safer and prevent you from dying. Listen, you don't have no science backing that faith. You have put faith in their shot, and she's telling you The variant that they have designed, the shot that you're taking, it's not even prevalent no more. So why are you taking this shot? Because the stuff that they want you to get, you're going to get all of that and then some. And when the new variant comes out, the stuff that they want in you is going to react adversely. And now you're a permanent slave to vaccine after vaccine, variant after variant, shot after you're a permanent death row prison inmate. You don't know when the electric chair is coming, but you on the Green Mile. You don't have a date. That's what the worship of Jupiter is. Jupiter is Father Death. Huh? The Roman Catholic Church worships death. Father Time, Father Death, the ghost of Christmas past, that's Jupiter. The one with the sickle. Why? Because God promised he's going to tread the wine presses of the wrath of God. And he sent his angel with the sickle to harvest. So to mock God, the counterfeit of God coming victoriously is Jupiter, Father Death, to the children who try and follow God. And you're opting in to Jupiter's trap. You are more afraid of Satan than you have faith and trust in God. That is a death sentence. That is a death sentence. And the three Hebrew boys would rather die standing up on their faith in God than be caught bowing down, cowering to earthly men. And right now, I don't see none of the three Hebrew boys outside of my camp. I see everybody cowering, everybody finding a reason. And history always repeats itself. You're not getting new history. So you're getting the same test that they got and you're failing? When the word of God says they are the only winners. Now what? That's when God says, my people perish for lack of vision. I done showed you who wins this battle and what they did to make them winners. My people died for lack of vision. I done showed you the blueprint of the winners. I done told you exactly what the kings of the earth are going to say to try and get you to fear them over me. And then I told you specifically what three little teenagers had the courage to tell the king of the world. This was a true king. Nebuchadnezzar wasn't no fake queen of England. Nebuchadnezzar was a real deal Cushite, Nubian, Canaanite killer. Nebuchadnezzar controlled real men. Not a Joe Biden, not a Barack Obama. Revenge of the Nerd, these Revenge of the Nerd niggas. These Ivy League Revenge of the Nerd niggas. No, Nebuchadnezzar was a real king. And little teenagers said, we ain't careful to answer you. Our God is able to deliver us. But if he don't, we still won't bow down and worship you. But if not, nigga. But if not. And then the creator of heaven and earth got up off the throne and came down and walked with them teenagers and said, I dare you to press this issue further. The king of heaven and earth got up off the throne, walked in the flames with 3 teenagers that had more courage with no Bible. You got a book that tells you their story. They didn't have no reference. They wasn't with their parents, wasn't there. They was carted off into a strange land by themselves. The training had already been done. Y'all don't understand, yo. Y'all do not understand. Yeah. The training had already been done in them boys. They mamas had already trained them to be men as teenagers. Y'all grown adults can't find the courage to stand against cowards with blood on their hands. I don't know what to tell you.
Our population. Right now, the predominant variant is the Delta, and CDC Director Walensky basically said that these vaccines have no ability to prevent infection by and transmission of the Delta variant. So, our policy needs not to be built on the hope of what we think something we wanted to do, but what the data actually tell us. So, do these viruses prevent? Do the vaccine?
Y'all, what's Barack Obama's campaign? Hope. Barack Obama sold you fake hope. So you hoping that he won't put you in a position to harm you. You hoping that it's going to do. She said, listen, it ain't about what you hoping.
These prevent the virus from infecting and replicating in the nose and nasopharynx? No. They've only been shown to prevent that replication in the lungs. They're different. The mucosa is very different than the lungs. It's very different than the blood. You inject it to the blood, you make antibodies in your blood. The virus isn't infecting your blood. It's infecting your mucosa. You don't use IgA to neutralize it. In fact, recent studies have shown that the vaccinated, especially with the Delta variant, and the unvaccinated have similar amounts of virus in their nose and throat. In Barnstable, Massachusetts, the CDC tracked an outbreak of 469 cases of COVID. 74% occurred in fully vaccinated, and 4 out of 5 of those hospitalized were vaccinated. Right, so maybe they're mandating this because they just didn't know with the COVID. And so my big our health agencies, CDC, who basically know better and are misleading the public. So let's look at DTaP, which the scientists and the CDC have known since 2014 that the acellular pertussis vaccine does not prevent people from getting infected with the pertussis bacteria and passing it to others. In fact, it was never designed to do that. The vaccine was designed to neutralize the pertussis toxin. Pertussis, we know it as whooping cough. It can be fatal for children under 6 months. But neutralizing this toxin saves lives, all right? I'm not going to debate that. What it doesn't do is neutralize the bacteria. So what happens is fully vaccinated children go to daycare, they pick up that bacteria, and they come home and they give it to their newborn brother or sister.
Fully vaccinated, the shot is not designed to prevent anybody from getting the virus. So you being whipped into a frenzy, pressuring, they're using you because you outnumber them to put peer pressure on the people around you in your community to do something. And none of y'all got the information based off of why you're afraid and trying to tell other people you need to get the shot. Why should they get the shot? The shot don't prevent you from she's saying none of the vaccines prevent you from getting the disease. But with the vaccine that she's talking about, because it is designed for the disease, the whooping cough, when they get the virus, that vaccine works for the whooping cough. That is not the case with the shot that you're taking, because it's a new variant, and the shot that you took was designed for the old one. So your math don't even add up. And by the time they create a new shot for the Delta variant, they will already unleash another new variant that shot won't apply to. It's not going to stop anybody. You stick with the shot, without the shot, you're still going to get the virus, is what they're telling you. No vaccine is designed to prevent. Only God's way prevents you from getting disease. Only doing it the way that we have created Dr. Life-Mart to sell you the food, the life insurance, the physical therapy, the cleanses that will reverse. Those of y'all who took the shot in fear, you want to get that mess out your system, there's a cleanse. It comes everything with a price. Equal to the lives that we have lost in this man-made, manufactured disaster that you, because of your fear and ignorance, are becoming an accomplice to. We the only people that's willing to come out here. Why? Because we've been living this our whole life. We only telling you the same thing that our parents told us when we was born. Boy, you ain't eating no meat. Boy, we don't drink dairy. You need to get off that cheese, boy. Dr. CB, all my life, my mom and dad, boy, you ain't gonna put that mess in your body. You crazy? Prevention is the ultimate cure. Your immune system is designed to destroy invading diseases. That's what your immune system is already designed to do. You're supposed to feed it the fuel to give it the power. When your immune system is at 100%, you have the ability to fight off any and every virus, disease, whatever. When your immune system is at 50 and below, you failing, just like in school. Your immune system has a 50 and below, so you already at an F. Then you're gonna put a shot into that. You at a 50 or below, you already got cancerous cells floating around your body. The doctor just hasn't identified it and found it and told you stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. You at 50 or below in your immune system, and then you're going to put a shot in there that's going to compromise and take you lower than 50 in the hopes that it will prevent you from dying from a strain that is no longer present. It's a new strain out here. That math don't even add up. That math doesn't even add up because that science don't add up.
Sister, they get deathly ill and they go to the hospital. Hopefully our medical professionals are able to save them. But who do they blame? Now the CDC is blaming anti-vaxxers for the limitations of this vaccine design.
Once again, she's talking about whooping cough when whooping cough vaccine is designed for the whooping cough virus. There's not different variants of the whooping cough. So when you take the whooping cough shot, and if you get the virus, that vaccine matches that sickness. The shot that you have taken don't match. And the CDC, like she said, is blaming anti-vaxxers, is blaming people who won't go down there and let them put a shot in them that don't apply to the virus strain that's out. So if there's a new virus strain out, if they have the ability to match the shot with the virus, why they don't have the virus to match the Delta variant and kill it if you get the virus? Huh? Because that's not their goal. They have ulterior motives. Their goal is not to prevent you from dying from COVID. They even have a number of deaths that they want to see. 65 million, said Bill Gates in 2019, October 2019 at Johns Hopkins University. How you got a number of deaths that you want to see? How you going to run a simulation and your goal is 65 million? The only way they could get to 65 million is when everybody who won't get the shot gets the shot. The only way they can get the number of deaths that they want to see is when you all take their shot. So what does that mean? Bill Gates is a criminal. Joe Biden is a criminal. The Center for Disease Control are criminals. The World Health Organization are criminals. The Chinese are criminals. And anybody in any of our institutions, you are a part of a criminal conspiracy, crime against divinity. And you will have to pay full price. All of you teachers who won't stand for the children that you claim to serve, all of you teachers that have aligned yourself with a state that hates children, Department of Children and Families is the #1 predator of children. Social workers, they put the caseload on the social workers in the Department of Children and Family. The caseworkers are so overwhelmed, there's no way they can manage and prevent abuse and trauma. It's the #1 place for predators, the Department of Children and Family Services. #1 place where predators roam free. Children openly abused daily, Department of Children and Family Services. We only got so many social workers in all of California. We can't keep up. It's by design that the state makes sure that the children who are in the system don't have any advocates with the father. And the one place where they're supposed to find a refuge is at school. The one place where they're supposed to find an advocate is at school. And all of y'all coward teachers. And it's worse in New York. These niggas is getting $150,000 a year. Do you know what these teachers, they in a union that pays them no matter what type of teaching they do? It's blood money. They paid to turn a blind eye. The worst educational system in the world is up north. And the reason they paid them that blood money like that, so they could still have teachers. If they paid the teachers in New York and all of them, they would have no teachers that would go do that. They pay them niggas good to turn the blind eye. And the service that your children get ain't no better in Florida, in Alabama, in Mississippi, nowhere in the country. You teachers. Yeah, niggas want to glorify teachers. Where? The most diabolical assault on the children is a school to family, is a school to prison pipeline. Teachers. If teachers were defending the children, the school to prison pipeline would have been destroyed years ago, yo. Dropout factories ain't no dropout factories if teachers is serving the right population. No, the teachers ain't serving the right population. All y'all niggas got blood on your hands, yo. Attorneys, doctors, teachers, the military, the police, all y'all niggas got so much blood on your hands, yo. And the sad part is the children don't have they can't speak, yo. I wish anybody would try and make any of my children feel any type of way about this. I promise you, yo. Play with me. I'm gonna show y'all David and Goliath in real life. I promise you. Every battle you've seen in the Bible, Joshua, the sun stand still so he could kill every nigga that stood against his God. Joshua prayed and made the sun stand. Every battle that you've ever seen in the Word of God, I'm gonna make you see in present day. New York City. Y'all think the World Trade Center came falling down? Nigga, we gonna walk to DC. We're gonna march around DC. We're gonna watch the Washington Monument crumble. We're gonna watch 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, the Playboy Mansion, whorehouse, fall to the ground. We're gonna march around every last one of y'all pagan high places and shrines and bring it to the ground in your face and dare you to stand up for your rebel outcast God. We're gonna dare any of y'all witches and warlocks who wanna go pro in the principalities. No more masquerades in the physical. No more masquerading in Christianity. We out the closet. You a whore, let's go. Ain't no more masquerading, yo. I don't know why y'all masquerade. We ain't masquerading. We ain't playing with y'all niggas. And every day you stay in your masquerade, you give us another day to take another one of our children out of the deception. Keep playing your masquerade. Every day you play your masquerade, one more of our children come home. I do this every single day. Every single day. And while y'all keep playing like y'all Christians, and while y'all keep playing, our babies is coming home. Our women is coming back home. While y'all keep masquerading like y'all angels of light, we consecrating and coronating true angels of light. So the extinction, the judgment is here. You're not fooling nobody but yourself. You're not gaining any ground. You're not pumping fear in any hearts. Nobody's backing down. Nobody's bowing down. You're not deceiving anybody. You don't own nothing. We have always had dominion. We know our covenant backwards and forwards. We breathe, eat, and sleep our God. We have poured out and anointed our wives and children with the Holy Ghost of the Most High God, just like on the day of Pentecost. So what are we really doing in a masquerade? We the sons of God who are going to the wedding feast. And either you're going to bring battle or Armageddon, or you're going to fake like you're a Christian, and go to the lake, or you gonna stand on what you truly believe in? You a coward when you worship the prince of the power of the air, and you got to masquerade like you worship the creator. You a coward, homie. Why don't you stand on what you stand on? You a coward. You a Seventh-day Adventist knowing that you still worship as a prophet of Baal. You a coward, homie. Stand on what you stand on. You believe Satan God? Stand on it, yo. You're going to get the same response from us. At least I will respect you. You want to challenge the throne of God and stand for Satan, to do that. Stop singing gospel hymns. You're not going to deceive our children. That generation was over with, my dad's generation. We don't respect none of y'all niggas. And you're not going to get us to walk away from God because you don't represent God. That's the only reason why church niggas do what they do. Infiltrate your church to make you discouraged and walk away from God. That's their only game plan. We've been walked away from the church years ago because the power ain't in the church. The power's in the blood. The power's in the outpouring of the Holy Ghost. The church don't got that. You're wasting your time trying to get us to fall out with God because niggas in church is perverts. Y'all always been perverts, nigga. You got the wrong generation, yo. This is not the baby boomers. This is not them Vietnam vets that you could tell anything. You got to go to war and die. And for nigga, this ain't that generation, yo. You playing yourself. We seen that our fathers was fools for fighting for this. We saw how y'all did the Vietnam vets. We saw how y'all did black people, World War II, Vietnam. You crazy? You think you gonna sell us U.S. patriotism, U.S. Constitution, U.S. democracy, nigga? And you a real fool if you think I'm gonna run to Islam, cause Farrakhan conjugal visit over there. Nigga, I'm everlasting. Farrakhan conjugal visit wasn't in the beginning. In the beginning was the word. Farrakhan conjugal visit wasn't in the beginning. He got a start date. The power of my source ain't got no start date. In the beginning, ITV. And some bullies. And some Muslim bully. You think we scared of some Muslims? Are you really scared? You think we scared? That's what they think. They think y'all scared. They think y'all scared. They think y'all in the West, okay, if you identify with Christians, y'all gonna be scared when we say, yo, you need the U.S. military to defend you from terrorism. Nigga. Have you ever heard of the death angel? Have you ever heard of Pharaoh in Egypt? Who is God that I should be mindful of him? Let me show you who God is that you should be mindful of him. Your firstborn dead, nigga. When a Muslim can become the Lord of hosts and the death angel, when the Pope in Rome can become the death angel, last time I checked, the leaders of Islam and Catholicism and Christianity all are saying, who is God that I should be mindful of him? Last time I checked, the leaders of all of those religions said, let his blood be on us and our children. And I ain't never gonna let none of y'all forget it. Islam comes from Ishmael, Isaac's first son. I'm never gonna let nobody lie to these babies and tell them, listen, Islam comes from Ishmael. 12 kingdoms came and warred against Isaac's seed, which is Jacob, Israel. The 12 sons of Ishmael warred against the 12 sons of Israel. Ain't no 600 AD, ain't no 711 AD with no made up, European made prophet. Them sons of Ishmael was right there at Calvary talking about let his blood be on us and our children. Ishmael and Israel and Greece and Rome and the Hebrews killed the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and I will never let anybody forget it. Never. The 5-pointed star is Ishmael, Israel, Greece, Rome, Hebrews. 5-pointed star, the GOAT, Azazel. Dallas Cowboys star, the Dallas Cowboys, Ishmael, Israel, Greece, Rome, Hebrews. Let his blood be on us and our children. So be it. That's called the unfaithful. So who is well done, my good and faithful servant? Those of us who've been in the highways and the byways, the good Samaritan. The men of Nineveh will judge this final generation. The Queen of Sheba will judge this final generation. That's who we are. The final generation. Assyria and Sheba. That's Cush. I will feed you with the heritage of Jacob, thy father, Cush. Abraham. End of that lesson. Thanks, Mike.